I'm proud to say that one of the reasons Virginia was chosen as the launch state for this campaign is because of our distinct heritage associated with another taxpayers' revolt that changed the world more than 230 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a much different story when we talk about taxes. Today, government already takes an average of more than 1/3 of our personal income every year. For most of us in the middle class, that figure rises to about 50% when you look at all the different taxes and fees we pay to all levels of government. And now, especially in this time of inflation affecting everything, from gas to food prices, an economy we can all agree is in rough shape, and unprecedented mortgage defaults, we don't need anyone taking more money from our families so they can increase the size of government. We've seen politicians pledge not to raise taxes, and some even put those pledges in writing. But those pledges are often broken when elected officials don't have the courage to cut budgets and instead confiscate more of our income to pay for their irresponsible spending habits. In response to this, the largest taxpayer organization in America, the 362,000-member National Taxpayers Union, has created a unique pledge designed to let taxpayers like you and me openly warn politicians that they will lose our votes if they support tax increases. This is one pledge the politicians cannot break because they aren't making it. We taxpayers are. This all sounds exciting to me. I hope it does to you, so let's hear more about it from the people who formulated the plan. So now I'd like to introduce NTU's Vice President for Policy and Communications, Pete Sepp, to tell us about the new campaign. Pete?
Well, first let me say Brian is being entirely too modest about Tertium Quids' contribution to this entire effort. Really, with Brian's input and John Taylor's seed of intellectual creativity, that's what really led to this website, this whole campaign being created. The idea was shared with our staff from John that we needed something different than a simple pledge on the part of politicians not to raise taxes. We needed to involve the American people, the voters, more directly in pledging not to raise taxes. That's where it has to start. The voters themselves have to make it clear that enough is enough. We're very confident that we will have thousands of individuals signing up on notaxhikers.org to take this pledge to not vote for tax hiking politicians. In fact, I checked the counter on my Trio this morning about 30 minutes ago on the notaxhikers.org website. We have over 6,000 people already who have gone to the website, visited the page, and decided to take the pledge. That's a heck of a start considering, well, we didn't even have the news conference yet, and we already have over 5,000 people. So I think that's a fantastic and a very good, very encouraging sign that we're going to see a whole lot of people scaring a whole lot of politicians through this. I'd like to just address one argument that we constantly hear from the political establishment about ruling out tax hikes in fiscal policy. They say it's mindless, it's simplistic. It takes away their options and their flexibility to respond to certain situations. We would contend the exact opposite, that it's mindless to keep considering tax increases in this environment or any environment for that matter. Take a look at Tax Freedom Day, for example. We had just received some information about Cost of Government Day. This is actually a smaller component. The number of days Americans have to work just to satisfy their tax liabilities to all levels of government. In 2003, Tax Freedom Day was April 16th. This year, it's April 23rd. So in the space of 5 years, we're now working a week longer for the government. We've seen economic boom go to bust, yet we're still working a week longer for the government. That is mindless. We see taxes consuming roughly 30, even 33% of the gross domestic product from all levels of government. Studies have shown from all kinds of scholars, Richard Vedder, Lou Euler, Barry Polson, the ideal level is closer to 20% if we want to maintain a strong economy. And again, there are politicians who say that's not a big enough share. 30% needs to grow to 35, 40, 50. That, in my opinion, is mindless. Take a look at the local level. Property taxes from 2001 through this year have increased an average nationwide of about 7% each and every year. The political establishment's response: we need more money, shut up and take out your checkbooks. We don't care if you can't afford your mortgages. We don't care if housing values have plummeted and you can't sell the bloody thing. Too bad. Pay more taxes. That, in our opinion, is mindless. So when politicians say that this campaign is simply a gimmick, simply a, what would you say, simply a way of boiling down complex issues into mindless slogans, no. Remember, they are the ones being mindless in saying we need to pay more taxes. I would close by saying one last thing. This is not necessarily only about sending a message to politicians who would raise taxes. This can also work with things like ballot measures. There are numerous proposals across the country to increase sales taxes in Minnesota, increase sales taxes for reducing property taxes in Florida. There are tax increase proposals on ballots in Oregon and California, maybe even Massachusetts. We're not sure about that yet. This kind of mindless proposals for tax increases is another thing that we're trying to fight. The notion that government does not have enough money. I don't think that's simplistic for the American people to say, we are paying enough from our own pockets and we're going to toss out or simply never elect people who can't understand this principle. It's the simple slogan we've come up with. It's your money, vote that way. And we're hoping that this will be a message that will be heard loud and clear in Washington, state capitals, city halls, everywhere between now and November. I thank you very much.